Okay, hey you guys, if you've been here before, then you notice that the channel got a little bit of a revamp. So welcome to the new channel. If you're new here, then welcome to the channel. Used to be called Lurper Rays, but I'm actually saving that for something else. This channel is going to be called Spirit Baby, and I'm going to focus on the connection between the divine and religion. Now, I'm not saying that I'm going to try to convert everybody, and I myself am not trying to convert to any religion. I'm going to remain completely spiritual. What I'm saying though is that there has to be a reason why all of these spiritual texts continue to reference similar stories aside from the spread of the stories through colonialism. Like aside from that, there has to be a reason why in cultures all around the world we hear similar stories, similar biblical references and geographical references. And it's my personal belief that these stories somehow coincide with each other and give a general concept or a general thesis. So what I've been doing recently is looking into the Bible. I plan on getting, sorry, that's my phone. Okay, sorry. I've been looking into the Bible. I plan on getting a clef. I'm gonna put it right here. I forgot what it's called, but I'm going to get the unedited original version of the Bible because I want to read the missing 13 chapters. So the missing span of Jesus' life when he was in Egypt, learning from the Egyptian culture, learning the esoteric and exoteric knowledge that he could bring it back to the rest of the world. So I want to learn that. I want to learn before the New Testament. So the Old Testament, because there's a lot of great things hidden in there as well. Right now I'm working on learning Hebrew, but we're not going to get into that. We're going to go straight into what this video is about. So welcome to Why Witchcraft Isn't Bad. So welcome to my channel. So witchcraft itself is a continuous practice. I'm going to look at my notes a little bit because I don't want to veer too long, get this video all out of sync. So in my own very own definition, is the honoring of the earth, the ritual of incorporating this herbs and the earth and incorporating our physical knowledge into our spiritual life and vice versa. It's the breakdown. So spirit is the breakdown of the fabric of the universe, and witchcraft is when we understand that spirit and we understand that fabric of the universe, how the universe works, and we understand the spiritual properties of the things of this world, and we are able to manipulate that in both good and bad ways. By understanding the energy, we're able to manipulate it to our own benefit or to the benefit of others. When we are using magic or practicing, we're walking with spirit, the fabric of the universe, the unseen forces that make up the world we see today. We all know that there are good spirits and bad spirits, and hey, to each his own. I'm not going to come after you for what spirits you work with. Do your thing, boo. So when we work with a specific spirit, and I'm speaking about specifically the good ones, we're working with the Holy Spirit. Now pause. Okay? I'm not trying to convert you. I'm not trying to convert you, I promise. Let's look up the definition of holy. Okay, because I promise I'm not trying to convert you. Holy, we use DuckDuckGo, not Google, okay? The definition of holy is belonging to, derived from, or associated with a divine power, sacred. Definition number 2, regarded with veneration or specified for a religious purpose. And definition number 3, no judgment, okay? We'll do all 3. Living or undertaken with highly moral or spiritual purpose. Saintly. Alright, so I didn't say God. I didn't say Christianity. I didn't say Jewish. I didn't say anything, okay? I just said holy. A specific higher spirit. Holy. That's it. That's all I said, okay? Now that we got that situated. We're working with the Holy Spirit. You know what I mean? When we practice witchcraft. Okay, now I do practice witchcraft, and I used to read tarot. I still read tarot, but not that often. So I still read tarot, And I still study a lot of spiritual things because I'm spiritual in nature. And so that's like my goal, is to understand all the knowledge of this universe. But we're going to keep going. I'm going to very briefly talk about the fact that these books hold so much of the truth, and that there's way too much connection between the holy books, the specific higher energy books, okay? There's so much connection between those books and witchcraft that it's insane. But at the same time, there's such a narrative that witchcraft is bad, or that witchcraft is coming from the devil, and that's because of the history of witchcraft and the propaganda put out by, not even by the church. The church had to eventually the church had to condemn witchcraft, but it wasn't because the church actually thought it was bad. Okay, if you want to know more, look in the description below. I'll put in some informational videos about the history of witchcraft, and I'm also going to be covering in this channel a lot of misconceptions and bringing them back into the light. Bringing the truth back into the light. Sorry, misconceptions, bringing the same thing, you know, but so okay, we'll start with Genesis. I'm going to take the last minute and a half to just very quickly brush over Genesis and the fact that it's connected to the original story of Enki and Enlil. If you don't know Enki, the story of Enki and Enlil, it's the story of creation of the universe. And it's what happened, well, not the story of creation of the universe. It's the story of the creation and original purpose of Earth. And the story of Enki and Enlil also goes into the story of Adam and Eve, but it gives you a more universal, dare I say, spiritual outlook on it. Whereas in the Bible, in the more modern Bible, contemporary Bible, it just says God made Adam and Eve. Okay, like rip from a bone, God made Adam and Eve, and from the dust and the wind and the dirt and the breath and the water, you know. But if you really go through the Bible, and I challenge you guys to go through the Bible, and I'm not saying go through the Bible and become a Christian, okay? I'm not. I'm saying go through the Bible because there is truth in this book. And there's truth in the Torah as well. And there's truth in the Quran. And I look forward to being able to hear the original translations, the unedited sentences, the sentences that got cut out, the chapters that got cut out, because so many chapters got cut out of the Bible. And there has to be a reason why. Now I'm just after the truth here. Now to this one quote, because we're trying to keep it below time. I kind of had a switcheroo in the scriptures that I chose to outline and how they connect to the craft. And that's just because I wanted to make sure that the time spent on this little section of the video was worth it, and it wasn't kind of like just this vague, like, oh, like it's in there kind of thing. Like I really wanted to just make sure that it was relevant. So we're going to jump right in. So in Genesis, of course, just to let you know, in case you didn't know, because I was going to say, of course you know, but in Genesis, the first chapter goes over the story of creation, and that relates to sacred geometry, and that concept is also told in the Bible with there was nothingness in the beginning. When God created heaven and earth, the earth was formless and empty. Okay, so it's not a circle, it's formless and it's empty. There's nothing there, it's just space. And spirit, the Spirit of God, was hovering over the surface of the waters. Okay, so now all of a sudden, boop, there's spirit, but the spirit isn't aware yet. So then God said, let there be light, and with light comes knowledge and awareness. Now there's awareness, the first thought. And then he separated light from darkness. He made a distinction. It goes on and on. But if you read through it, you can begin to create the flower of life, or the seed of life, really. And that's on day 6. And so you can follow how that goes through with sacred geometry. Okay, and then God created Adam and Eve. So he created Adam from dust and from water. Or if you read, or if you look up the story of Enki and Enlil, from blood and from dust. And Adam literally means the earth in Hebrew. and Eve means life. Because I kind of got off topic, so I'm gonna just keep going right here. Sorry. So the second part that I wanted to go over was knowledge of good and evil. So when Eve was tempted by the serpent, which was actually the reptilian side of her brain, so it's not actually a snake, it's just the reptilian aspect of her brain, separate from the pineal gland and separate from like the intuitive side of her brain. So when she was tempted by her reptilian nature, by her human nature, and she ate the fruit of the tree of knowledge of good and evil, so the fruit of wisdom, she became aware of good and evil. And with this awareness of good and evil, yes, in Genesis 3:16, 17, he said, if you eat it, you're sure to die. So yes, with that knowledge of good and evil, there becomes an ending of the period of purity where they weren't aware of evil. And that's the death, and then the beginning and the life of knowledge of good and evil. But within that knowledge of good and evil, instead of automatically doing the right thing because you're in paradise, right? With that knowledge comes choice. Now you must choose to be good. And the sin was not the fact that they knew of good and evil, and not the fact that they were becoming more like God than they already were. It was the fact that they forgot God. And because they forgot God by following the reptilian nature, there was a sin. Miniature pause. For those of you guys who are wondering where the witchcraft is coming in, I promise we're getting there. Just stay tight. I had to add context. Okay, here we go. Oh, that's what I missed. So she followed her reptilian instinct, which is the part of her brain, and because of that, the snake was cursed to crawl on its belly. But if you know snakes, you know they already crawl on their belly. So that part, and I'm looking into this a little bit more, but what I got from that is that the snake was forced, instead of standing upright in our body, the snake was forced to crawl or slither or be kind of like tangled and not straight. And with that, that connects, well, what I connected that to was the Kundalini, and how the Kundalini is always kind of curved and tangled, and we have to work to straighten our Kundalini back up. And when we straighten our Kundalini back up, we're more spiritually enlightened, and we're not just following our reptilian spirit, but we're following what snakes actually represent, and that's wisdom. Okay, anyway, so moving on. We got Genesis 3:6-9, which is the original sin. Exodus 3:6-9, which is when God acknowledged that the Jews were mentally enslaved. So the Jews were in a slavery. And even though Jews were literally enslaved, they have to go on a spiritual journey where they stop relying on their physical expectations and stop listening to their body. And they're able to become more spiritually enlightened. And through that, God even feeds them like the actual spirit. He feeds them manna. Like if you ever manna, I'm gonna put it right here. If you ever seen Naruto, you know what I'm talking about. He feeds them chi. Like he literally feeds them life force energy. Okay, moving on. Proverbs 3:6-9 is actually about raising your vibration, raising your frequency large enough to be able to hear God speak to you. And when you hear that intuition, when you're able to hear that and hear spirit, and if you read tarot and you're a clairaudient, you kind of know what I'm talking about. But when you're able to hear that, then you're able to, and you listen to it, then that's you following God. So basically, when you go through all of your shadow work and you have your ego death and you're finally able to listen to your intuition and hear from your higher self and your ancestors and your angels, that's you listening to the higher vibration of yourself, which if we turn the higher vibration of ourselves into biblical talk, we're listening to the higher version of ourselves, which is God, because as above, so below, and God is within us, and he's just the higher version of ourselves, is what the Bible is saying. And that's how that relates to the spirituality and the quote craft. So it might get a little bit busy on the screen, is all I'm about to say. So we went over Genesis, Exodus, Proverbs, and Jeremiah, right? So in Exodus is the chapter, just so you guys know, where the Israelites are being saved from Egypt. Okay, just to let you know. And so this is God recognizing, hey, they're enslaved, not just physically, but mentally, and we need to take them into a higher vibration. And I'm going to give them a land of milk flowing with milk and honey. A land flowing with milk and honey. Sorry. And Jeremiah 11:3-5 is what we're focusing on here. Or if you want to stay with the numerology, Jeremiah 11:3-6. But, So 11:3-5. So in this chapter, God is saying, hey, I gave you guys spiritual enlightenment, and you're out here like worshiping these false idols. Not to say that they're bad, I just thought that you'd come back. You know, like after you went and had your fun, I thought you'd come back to me, and you never did. Like you're just worshiping these false idols. You're worshiping these scarecrows, which are just reflections of my image. And I thought you'd realize that they all add up to me, but you're not. And that's a problem, you see, because the only way I can fulfill my promise to you or my agreement is if you hold up your end. So it's not like I can, like, it doesn't stick. You know what I mean? Like I said I would give you a land of milk and honey, but I can only, it's not gonna stick to you if you don't. You know what I mean? Like you gotta hold up your side. He's telling Jeremiah, hey, go tell the people of Israel that I am their God. Like this one that says, hey, remember the one that saved you? I'm back. Hey, it's me. Go tell them that they need to hold up their end of our agreement and listen to me. Listen to the higher voice. Listen to their higher spirit. Because if they don't, I won't be able to hold up my end of the bargain and give them the milk and honey that I promised to their ancestors. The milk and honey is actually, they're combined, but the milk and honey are 2 parts of the spiritual oil that your brain secretes every month. It is the holy oil, or the Christos in Greek, which is separated into milk for the pineal. Yes, okay. Separated into milk for the pineal and honey for the pituitary gland. So the pineal and the pituitary gland, which is Joseph and Mary, masculine, feminine, electrical, magnetic, honey, milk, messenger of God, mother, messenger, mother, juice of the fruit, and the source of the fruit. Okay? So all of that, and once you're able to gather up enough secretion of the Christos, which comes from the holy colostrum, from Santa Claus, the holy colostrum. Anyway, once you're able to get enough of that holy oil, which doesn't immediately always come, it only comes when your body is in a really good condition. You have to go into the science of that. I'm not going to go too deep into that on this channel right now. But once you have enough of that, you can enrich your life, have a longer lived life, and you reach a higher form of spiritual enlightenment. So, basically said, hey, look at this. Look at this amazing, like, spiritual enlightenment. I'm going to give all of this to you guys because you were mentally enslaved and, you know, you're my people. So, I'm going to go ahead and let you know the truth. You get to know, hee. And the people say, wow, that's nice. I'm gonna just take this and stare at it for a long time. And I'm gonna go around and tell people that this is what it is. I would say, like, I'm for Yahweh, but Yahweh is God, and God also references himself as Yahweh, El Shaddai, Enki, and Lil in the Bible. So I'm not even trying, like, you know, I'm not trying to make it into like a Christian thing. I'm not, I promise. And I feel like I'm stressing that because I just am so concerned that you're gonna take it that way. I'm not. But what I'm saying is that the Bible references other gods as an extension of God, and God was only mad, or not mad, but he was only concerned and upset at the people of Israel and at Eve and Adam, not because they ate the fruit, but because possibility and concern that they would continue to not be in alignment with their higher selves and their higher vibration. So it wasn't the fact that they ate the fruit, it was the fact that now they have knowledge of good and evil, and they naturally, in following their reptilian brain, chose evil. They chose fear. They chose to hide from God. Instead of saying, hey, we ate it, but we still good though, they said, ooh, we ate it, oh no, now that I know all these evil things, I'm gonna choose to hide. Okay, bye God, you won't find me, the only human on earth. Like, so it's not that it's actually bad. And it references this throughout the entire like book. It's not that the act itself is bad. It's that the act without God, or without your higher conscious, or without enlightenment, and without intuition, without being divinely orchestrated and divinely guided, is bad. That's it. That's the message. Continuing the video. This channel isn't about Bible study, it's about the study of the truth. And so, I really, if you do end up watching this video, hi! But tell me in the description below, whoever's here, what you're interested in terms of this video. Are you interested in how the Bible relates to witchcraft, how the Bible connects to spirituality, and how deep the rabbit hole goes, okay? Like, how deep do you want to go with this? Because I'm just going to put it on the screen, like all the different options that we have here, because this, we can go in, you know, I'm just going to put it on the screen, okay? We all have knowledge. We're all smart here. We're all smart people. And we're intelligent. And we have spiritual knowledge within us and all around us. Dare I say, let's dig in. Hashtag Christ consciousness. Let's get it. So that's the video for today. I hope you guys enjoyed. And it was good being here. It's Spirit Baby. I'm out.